Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Cold Hard Truth podcast. I'm Jack Smith.
I'm Shrikar Gendran.
And I'm Anish Gupta.
And we've got your Week 14 picks coming at you guys this week after, a tough Week 13. I'll admit it right here. Embarrassing performance. I picked the Chargers to beat the Patriots. That'll go down as my worst pick to date. They lost 45-0. Worst special teams in the league. Anthony Lynn deserves to be fired after that. We'll get into
He should have been fired last year.
Yeah. We'll get into my opinion on the Chargers when we get further into it. But to catch you up on the leaderboard, Anish is still in first with 130 wins. You guys, our fans, are at 125 wins. I'm at 122, and Srikar's at 117. Like we say every episode, if you go down into our Instagram, you can vote for each game on the week. And if you come in first place, you get a little bit of ground to make up. But if you do, you win a giveaway. So just a little bit of incentive to go down, follow that Instagram, and vote on our story. But getting into it, Thursday Night Football, we have the New England Patriots and the Los Angeles Rams. And just because I know Anish is in the middle,
No.
start.
Come on, man. All right, I don't want to start on the rest of them, but this one, I'm one to not hate any players unless their name is Dante Pettis, and I'm not one to hate any teams unless they're the Steelers or the Ravens. So with the Rams and Pats, I really like them both. I don't want to, get into too much of it, but, I like players from both teams. This is really tough because obviously last time we saw these two, it was in the Super Bowl, with Tom Brady starting. It's really tough, but I think something's up with this Rams team, I think, for me. Something just looks right. And with this defense too, I think this defense is a little bit better than back in the Super Bowl, and I think this offense is a little bit better back in the Super Bowl. And obviously you don't have a 6-time Super Bowl champion at the helm. As much as I love Cam Newton, I don't know what I'm going to get from him.
You're going to get under 100 passes.
Under 100 yards.
Under 100 yards, 2 weeks in a row.
He's gotten the job done. And he's never been known to throw for it. So, that's my thing. But I just don't think he'll get it done here. I think the Rams win. Man, I think they do. But, I want to see both teams succeed. I wish this could end in a tie or something. But, no, I got the Rams winning.
Building off what Anish was saying, I'm also going to take the Rams here. This Rams defense is downright dangerous right now. I mean, Aaron Donald, he's giving opposing offensive lines fits right now. Jalen Ramsey, he's looking like the elite cornerback he's always claimed to be. And I know Cam Newton and Damian Harris, they played well against the Chargers, but I think they'll be in for a pretty rude awakening against the Rams. So I'm going to take the Rams here.
Yeah, I'm taking the Rams too. I think, I think this Patriots team represents kind of the same matchup that the 49ers gave the Rams, and the Rams had trouble with. I mean, a team that with a quarterback that's not going to wow you on the field for the game, and a good running attack. The Patriots have been able to run the ball this year with a good coach, and it just feels like this does feel like a game where Bill Belichick could take over, will his team to the playoffs, coach them to the playoffs. But it's in Los Angeles. The Rams have played well at home this year, and I just feel like this might be a revenge game for Sean McVay. I think just to prove himself.
They have to lead at halftime, I think.
They do. I think that was just a crazy stat. But look, it's a revenge game in the fact he gets to play Belichick and the Patriots again and hopefully beat them. And also, like I mentioned, this different matchup to prove something and to prove himself and this Rams team. I for some reason feel they get it done, but I was back and forth. I think it goes either way, really.
I just wanted to say like two quick things though before we move on. One, I think it's a battle of the two best secondaries in the league. I had the Pats as the best coming in, but this Rams team has really looked good. But yeah, I think, did I have something else? No, I think it's just battle of the two secondaries. The Pats team, right. Bill Belichick is 6-6. Tom Brady is 7-5. Bill Belichick's had the most opt-outs and the most injuries. Just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. But we move on to our Sunday games. Shrikar, you might have broken the Bears curse. And I think just to jinx it, I think you have.
Awesome.
2 correct Bears picks in a row. Who would have fathomed it after none through like week 8 or 9? So
I don't even remember.
It was pretty far down.
You know what? We'll still let you start though. The Houston Texans taking on the Chicago Bears in Chicago. Who do you got?
Look, neither of these teams are, completely out of the playoff picture. Getting a win here is going to keep one of them in the race, which means I'm expecting both teams to come out firing. I'm going to take the Texans, man, because as solid as the Bears defense has been this season, I don't think they're going to be able to keep Deshaun Watson and this offense from at least scoring a couple of touchdowns. And meanwhile, I'm not sure I can say the same for the Bears offense. Look, they've been downright awful down the stretch. And even with Mitch Trubisky under center, nothing's really changed. They just haven't been able to score enough to secure wins. And that's why I'm confident the Texans will get the dub here. It's just Houston has more firepower than Chicago, and that's just going to help them outscore them. Is this the Bears' seventh loss in a row?
It would be, yeah.
Wow, I guess that 5-1 start was a fluke then, man.
It was. Jack, you want to go?
Yeah, I wanted to go after you went, but I'm going to take the Bears, honestly. I feel like last week they really won that game up until the last seconds when they fumbled it away and lost.
Yeah.
They were winning that game almost the whole time, and me and Strigar had the Lions, and I was just like, oh, I'm going to have to make it up in the last two other games I did for Manish.
That's so unfair.
Detroit pulled it out. But look, Chicago's due. I think that their defense is similar to the Colts. I believe you can't just beat them by having a good quarterback. I think that's kind of what the Texans are right now too, is Deshaun Watson carrying this team to the small amount of victories they have. They can't run the ball. Their receivers haven't been great. Will Fuller's got suspended. And I just feel like Chicago will, be able to run the ball pretty well on this Houston team. They've been running better with David Montgomery. And I think that, honestly, they're just due for a victory. And I think Matt Nagy needs to win this game, and that's why I think they do.
So, the Bears fans that we know, at least, Chris, he wants to clean house, and I'm all for it. I mean, there's got to be a culture change there. I mean, there's just too much dysfunction right now.
Mm-hmm.
And also another thing, prayers up for Deshaun Watson, dude. I am just,
Anisha, are you ready to say he's in a situation like Matt Stafford yet?
No, because I think he's that talented.
That's not.
You know what? He should have beaten the Colts.
It's not about talent, though. It's about situation.
We're talking about the situation.
But the thing is, he has a playoff win, and two, I think he can still get this team to.
We're talking about the team around him, not just him.
Like I know, and I still think this team is more talented. I think this team can still build around Deshaun Watson. I have a lot of faith in him. I do. And
do you have him winning this week?
No, I don't. I have the Bears winning this week because, and you know what? Bears, I'm very mad. 99.1% chance to win with 4 minutes left. And that happened. I was so mad. I should have had, I think, a 2 or 3 game lead on Jack, and they cost me. So, whatever. I'm going to pick them again just because, again, they looked good throughout the game. And who the hell is Deshaun Watson going to throw to against Kyle Fuller and Jalen Johnson and Eddie Jackson? Please, someone explain to me because I have no clue. I have absolutely no clue. And I feel so bad. Also, it's in Chicago, and Deshaun Watson plays in a dome, or not a dome, but like an indoor stadium. So I think it's going to be a little bit different. I'm going to take the Bears. But please, someone help Deshaun Watson. He's too talented. They should have beaten the Colts, and I'm so mad that the center missed that snap because I feel for him.
Yeah, it's rough. And we move on. We got Dallas versus Cincinnati. This would have been an interesting performance had the season gone the way we thought it would be. Joe Burrow trying to cement his Rookie of the Year status, and Dallas competing for the playoffs in an NFC East. And, both of those things have gone down the drain. Now we have a pretty terrible Dallas team and a pretty terrible Cincinnati team without Joe Burrow. And I think Dallas is just a slightly less terrible team at the moment, and they've got more to play for right now. So I think Dallas wins this game.
Hey, man, Andy Dalton revenge game.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Who would have thought?
I'm going to take the Cowboys, too. It's just ever since Burrow went down, it's just the Bengals haven't been able to do much on offense, and Brandon Allen just doesn't cut it. And I don't think anything's going to change for him, so I'm going to take the Cowboys here.
Yeah, same. Man, it sucks. I really think they would have won with Burrow here. But, I think the Cowboys – did you guys know the Cowboys are the worst team in the NFC record-wise? Isn't that crazy?
They're going to have a top 5 pick.
Dang.
Wow. I mean, they're America's team, and it just doesn't – this crazy.
Is the draft pick battle right here. I mean –
yeah. I think Bengals are third.
Bengals are third, yeah.
Right now.
And they want to stay in third because that's Penei Sewell for them, someone they desperately need. So
they want
to stay third. Dallas, you don't know what they're trying to do. I feel like looking at some mock drafts and where they're at, they might need to trade down if they get the 5th pick. I just don't see anyone there for them.
A quarterback potentially. I wouldn't rule it out.
Maybe.
I think you trade to a team that wants to move up for a quarterback.
Yeah.
Maybe the Falcons or someone like that. But we'll get into draft stuff later. We're trying to get through the season first. We move into our next game. We got Kansas City versus Miami. Anish, you love the Miami Dolphins.
Here we go. Okay.
You say you love Patrick Mahomes, although we pulled some clips from episodes last year. You're not a big Mahomes fan. We heard you say.
Okay, I wanted to wait. All I said, I just wanted to wait till he got the ring.
Well, he has a ring. He's on a quest for another one. The Dolphins stand in his way. What happens in this one?
This I'm gonna be 100% here. If I had a bigger lead in picks, I would have picked the Dolphins. I think the Chiefs.
We try to cater to our fans and give them realistic picks and what we think is going to happen in games. This isn't a competition. No one cares. We're trying to give them real picks.
Okay, here's what I'll say. No, I'll also be realistic. I think the Chiefs will lose one more before the season ends. I think they will end up 14-2. I just don't know which game it's going to be. I don't. I think this one has the highest chance. But I can't pick against my homeboy. Who can right now? Who can? My homeboy. Who can pick against him? Look what he's doing. I mean, he's got 2 of the 3 leading receivers, and one of them's a damn tight end. I can't pick against this dude. I mean, this is the best offense I think I've ever seen in real time. Again, I've said it. I said it last week. I'm going to keep saying it. And, yes, it's at Miami. Yes, this Dolphins defense is very good. But they haven't seen a guy like this. They haven't. And because of that, my homeboy. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, man. I mean, all season long, the Dolphins have relied on their defense to win them games, but you're going up against Patrick Mahomes, who I still think is in the lead for MVP. I don't have him below Rodgers right now.
No doubt.
Well, him and Rodgers right now have are both in the top 5 rated quarterback seasons of all time.
I saw
right
that.
Now, their 2020 seasons. I think Mahomes is 3 and Rodgers is 5. So that's just we're witnessing.
I don't know why Peyton Manning's 2004 was up there. I thought 2013 should have been up there, but
Hey, but I'm gonna take the Chiefs. So I'll keep it short.
Yeah, I think it's a polarizing pick to take Miami this week as the big upset pick of the week. But look, if you're in the media and you're not picking Mahomes, I don't know what you're doing. I mean, it's worse to pick the Dolphins and be wrong than pick the Chiefs and be wrong. I mean, it's just you've got a better chance of getting the Chiefs. And look, they might lose a game before the season ends, but you can't predict it. I mean, you can't project
I think they
them
will.
to win or
I
to
don't
lose.
even think it's a might. I think they will. It's just a question of when.
But
I mean, they'll rest starters in week 17. You never know.
That's true. It's just too hard to pick against them right now. They're playing such good football. Mahomes is that defense has been good too. It's just I don't think this is a game that Tua can get by being a game manager and just making the plays, in 1 or 2 spots.
He's going to have to step up to the play. But the thing is, he did against Kyler. That's the best quarterback he's played against, right?
Yeah.
So far in his young career. And he did step up to the challenge.
But, I mean, the Chiefs are a different breed. I just don't think in his rookie year, Tua gets it done. Speaking of Kyler, his Arizona Cardinals take on the New York Giants, who shocked the world by beating the Seahawks last week with Colt McCoy as their quarterback. And, I genuinely thought about taking the New York Giants. I just, it was tough. But the Cardinals are kind of, after that Hail Mary, they've lost, I think, 3 straight. On a little bit of a Hail Murray hangover, and I think they get past it because they're going to have to win some games. They've got a ton to play for. They want to make the playoffs. I think they snap out of it in this one. And so, I'm going to go with the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the Cardinals right now, but it's not good. They've lost 3 games in a row. They seem to be falling apart, but the Giants, they're finally hitting their stride. And I think they're a sleeper to make some noise in the next month or so. And I wouldn't go as far as calling them a contender, but I'll say this. I don't think teams are going to want to face them between now and the postseason. And that's going to include the Cardinals here. It's just Kyler. It's too many turnovers and he can't, it's just, this offense isn't as explosive as it was in the early part of the season. The Arizona defense just giving up far too much on their end. And although, most of their losses have been close calls, they end up falling short more often than not. So I'm going to take the Giants here. And ultimately, if I had to make a prediction, I think Murray not being able to protect the football is going to cost them here.
Way to steal my thunder, man. I am taking the New York Giants because I want to root for them. I've been high on them. I like this team, and I'm telling you, I'm going to say it right now, and who knows, there may be an episode on it later. They are playing like the 4th best team in the NFC right now. The 4th best. These last 4 weeks, they have been playing like the 4th best team in the NFC.
Name your 4.
Huh?
Name your 4.
I think the Rams, Saints, Packers, and then them.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't think I would disagree with that. I don't think I would disagree with that.
They've been playing terrific. Again, this defense is legit. Joe Judge, like I said, I was high on him. I didn't expect this type of to come in this soon. And again, they're competitive with Washington. They have to stay above them, right? So I think they get a dub here. And I do know what's wrong with the Cardinals. Kyler Murray's shoulder.
Yeah,
it's not 100%.
He hasn't been able to run the ball. And when he doesn't run, they don't win. It's simple as that.
Exactly. And that pick six against the Rams, that was a bad throw. Simple as that. I might have jinxed him a little bit with the QB Whisperer series. I don't know. But, I'm going to pick the Giants here. Hopefully, I'm praying Danny Dimes comes back. And that's a little bit of a bias in there. But I'm hoping they do. This would be the type of game for the Cardinals to come back. But I just also want to say this, too. If the Giants do get that wild card spot, they basically played every team that could be there. They played Tampa Bay. They played Seattle. They're going to play Arizona. They played LA. I mean, they literally played every team that they could potentially face. So just thought that was cool. But yeah, I'm going to take the Giants here. And I'm going to admit there's a little bit of bias in that pick.
Yeah, I think that's one of the more interesting matchups of the week. We move on to what I would say, it's not as interesting matchup. I think Tampa Bay has been kind of sliding recently, but I think they really rebound this week against Minnesota. I think it's going to, not be a super close game. I'm not going to say like they're going to blow them out or anything, but I feel like Tampa Bay, they control this game from, kickoff to the whistle. And I think they beat the Minnesota Vikings, who were taken to OT last week by the Jaguars. I just feel like, it might be dwindling a little bit for the Vikings. And I think that Tampa Bay needs a win like this to get back on track.
You see, I really wanted to pick the Vikings here.
Okay. Interesting.
I just don't see them getting it done because the Bucs, they're coming off a bye. They've had time to rest and prepare for this team. They've got one of the league's best run defenses, which should hopefully keep Dalvin Cook in check. And they can get pressure on Kirk Cousins. And Tom Brady, it's been a down year, but, I mean, he's still more than capable of, any given Sunday just lighting it up. And against this secondary for the Vikings, it's been pretty erratic. So I wouldn't be surprised if he, as I said, lit it up here. So, it's been a fun story to watch with the Vikings, their return to relevance. And they're not completely out of the picture yet, but
they're completely in it. They're the 7th seed.
But they've got some hurdles. And, I'm going to take the Bucs here.
I'm going to take the Bucs here too. I think Tom Brady's I think his season's been a bit overlooked. I think he's top 3 or 4 in passing yards. And he's still 7-5. And again, right, new system, no OTAs, no preseason. And despite that, the Bucs are probably going to be either the 5 or 6 seed. They've looked really good at times. They've also looked pretty bad at times. And I think they get back on track against the Vikings. I think they lost 2 in a row coming into the bye. This was much needed. Again, think about it, playing 13 straight weeks, right? And then you finally get that bye. I think it was well-needed, much-needed rest. I don't know how about the Antonio Brown experiment. I don't think it's working out that much. Also, Dalvin Cook really hasn't, ever since, people started throwing him in the MVP convo, he hasn't really been, like that elect. I mean, he's had some down games, and people really haven't been talking about that. And I think, now he plays another tough defense. I don't know. I think the Bucs could make it a little bit hard for him.
Yeah, we'll move on to our next game, the Denver Broncos versus the Carolina Panthers. It seems like 2 teams that have just been – they're impossible to gauge this year, and it's tough to make predictions on their games. And I don't like picking either of these teams, so I'm going to pass it on to Anish first. I go Denver versus Carolina.
Well, I was kind of I wanted to make this pick. I was going to take the Panthers here. I'm not like a fan of the Panthers or anything, but I was higher on them than you guys coming into the year. What are they, 4-8? Again, much needed rest from the bye. And again, at home they've actually looked pretty good. And again, I think last time they were at home they shut out Detroit. And again, Brian Burns needs to be in consideration for Pro Bowl. I think people need to start looking at him for that. And yeah, I think McCaffrey comes back as well, if I'm not mistaken.
For the fantasy playoffs, what better time?
Yeah. And again, Broncos have, been up and down. I was glad to see they have a quarterback at least for this game. But yeah, I'm going to take the Panthers off the bye.
I'm also going to take the Panthers. This one was actually like a toss-up for me. But the Panthers are coming off a bye week. They've got home field advantage. I'm not sure if I trust the Broncos too much on the road this year. And plus, their defense should come ready to play. Drew Lock turns it over a lot. The Carolina offense, it's not like explosive, I'd say, but Bridgewater will get the job done. I think this one comes down to the wire, but I'm going to take Carolina.
This could be one of the ones where we see kind of just an early day upset that no one really saw coming from the Broncos, but I'm going to go with the Panthers too. I just feel like, I'm not a big Drew Lock fan. I've said it since the offseason. And you know what? I feel like Carolina's defense is just going to have one of those games they've had this year where they play super well. They're young, but when it comes together, they play really well. And I think that happens this week. The problem is they're going to need to get some receivers healthy and on the field for this game if they want to win. But getting McCaffrey back will really help that. I think that in the last game,
Panthers,
on
receiver. Okay, yeah.
I think they're lacking depth right now with, I believe, injury and COVID stuff. They're at risk of not having enough receivers on the field. But I mean, McCaffrey's going to help that. He's going to get 10 plus targets.
Yeah. I was just going to say they have one of the more underrated receiving corps. If not,
they do.
A top maybe 5 to 6 unit like Moore, Samuel, and Robbie Anderson. I mean.
And imagine adding Kyle Pitts to that next year from Florida.
Yeah,
a lot of the
could
things
be an interesting ad, but I don't know. Taking tight ends early, I've just
I don't agree with it. But look, I think they win. I think McCaffrey comes back. Last time he came back, played well. I think he does that this week and kind of gets the Panthers to that win. Last week we kind of clowned on the Jaguars. The last couple of weeks we have saying just moving on quickly from them. They almost beat the Vikings. As a Jets fan, I would have loved to have seen that. Made Trevor Lawrence just that much closer. The Jets almost tried to screw it up, and I was not having it. But they ended up still losing, and I think they lose this week too. Tennessee gets kind of a rebound game after getting, kind of embarrassed versus the Browns. While it was close, it was an embarrassing loss. I think they rebound and they beat the Jacksonville Jaguars.
You guys talk about a Bears curse, but there might be more of a Titans curse. I can't pick the Titans right for I don't know how many weeks it's been,
that's
but
true.
I believe I've
not
picked the Titans
right
in every week
while.
all year.
Yeah, no, Jack has literally picked you have never picked against them.
Maybe once, but I don't know.
But I mean, the Bills.
I did pick the Bills.
That was it. Everything. So they would technically be 12-1 right now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or 11-1. Excuse me.
It's the Jags. I got to take the Titans. It's just the Jags. I think they're better than their record, but they just can't close out games. So this is the best opportunity for the Titans to keep the momentum or get the momentum back. And the Jags, I think they're solid against the run. So Tennessee's got to be a bit balanced here. A.J. Brown and Corey Davis should be heavily in the game plan. It's just as long as Tennessee can balance things out on offense and not turn the ball over, I think they'll be fine. So I'm going to take the Titans here.
Again, with the Jags, while it looks close, the game shouldn't have been. The Vikings missed 3 kicks. There was a play that literally went off a defender's arm to Laviska Shenault. I mean, there were plays but hey, they kept in it. But yeah, I'm going to take Tennessee here. And I really hope they do bounce back because hoping for Ryan Tannehill and AJ Brown was a little bit banged up during the game too. That's why he fumbled twice. I think he might have actually fumbled 3 times, but one of them was recovered. But yeah, didn't have a good game, but I think they all bounce back here. This Jags team, ever since week 1, oh man,
no wins.
But yeah, exactly. So I got Tennessee bouncing back.
Yeah, they beat the Indianapolis Colts in week 1, and the Colts come this week after beating the Texans to take on the Las Vegas Raiders. And the reason I'm going to pick the Colts is because you see that after teams get a crazy play like that to end a game like the Raiders did with Henry Ruggs, there's kind of a hangover after a win like that. We've even seen it this season with the Cardinals. And I think that the Colts are going to kind of sneak into this game and they're going to take a win from the Raiders. Both teams really need a win here, but I'm going to go with the Colts because I think the Raiders might be a little bit hungover after that game against the Jets. And like I've said, I think that if a team depends on their quarterback to beat the Colts, like the Raiders have been this year with Derek Carr, you don't beat the Colts like that. You've got to have a super balanced attack. And look, even if they get Josh Jacobs back, which I'm not sure if they will, I just don't think the Raiders.
I don't know.
I just don't think that they will be able to be diverse enough on offense to beat the Colts, and I think they might be a little bit hungover after that Jets win.
So the Colts and Titans are tied for the division lead right now, right?
I believe so.
I believe so.
Either that or the Titans are one.
Yeah, no. They are. They're both 8-4.
I think the Colts are going to come into this game a lot more hungry than the Raiders. And the Raiders, they've been good at times this year. I mean, I've been a believer in them, but it might be surprising for you to hear me say this, but I don't really trust them to come out firing on all cylinders this week. Derek Carr, just inconsistency, man. He's just been inconsistent. And this defense, against the Colts offense, I think the Colts are going to work the ground game. And really, I hate having to pick against the Raiders, but I'm gonna take the Colts.
You're a Niner fan. You should not like.
Yeah, well, I'm high on the Raiders, man. And to be honest, the Raiders-Niners rivalry, it's not big to me. I don't really hate the Raiders like that.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, I'm taking the Colts here. The Raiders, this is so dumb. They should be out of it because they're the only team with a tiebreaker over us, and they should have lost. They should have. They got completely outplayed in the fourth quarter. But hey, Greg Williams decides to run a cover zero blitz. I'm convinced that was on purpose. I'm 100%.
I don't know. See,
I'm 100%.
It looks like it was on purpose, but he knows he's gone next year. Why does he care if they get Trevor Lawrence?
I don't know. Maybe so he can leave. Like I would want to leave too.
He was gone anyway.
But yeah, I mean, back to the Colts pick. I'm gonna take them. I still think they should have lost against Houston, but I think Darren Waller. I have him in fantasy. He went off. I think they'll probably neutralize him to an extent. With Darius Leonard leading that crew.
Yep.
But yeah, a little bit of nostalgia though, right? We all remember last time Derek Carr had a good season, or at least this is his best season since 2016, right? I'm just saying there's a little bit of nostalgia. Maybe there's a revenge game there for him.
Yeah.
Maybe he plays a little bit harder, right? I mean, we all remember it. It's one of the saddest things I've seen, right? Him and Wentz back-to-back years. Just the fibula for him, and then Wentz the ACL. So
one of them's rebounded from that.
Nice.
Oh boy.
No, we'll get to the Eagles later, but we get the Seattle Seahawks hosting the New York Jets. It's a good rebound game for the Seattle Seahawks. The Jets want to lose. I'm convinced, and I'm happy because I want them to lose. I swear to God, if they win any of these games to end out the year, I'm going to be so upset.
You've picked them a couple of times.
I have, because for some reason, I felt like they were going to win a game. And so, maybe that's what I have to do is pick them so they lose. I'm not going to do that, though. I think Seattle wins this game. They need to win this game. The Jets need to lose this game. I just feel like it's a match made in heaven.
Yeah, it's about time. The Seahawks got their act together already. It's just they've looked like a shell of what they were early in the season. 3 of their last 5 have been losses. And Russell Wilson, Jack was saying it, but it's probably going to be no MVP votes again. And that sucks to say. I think the Jets...
Not really. I mean, you got to earn it.
Yeah.
I know, but I mean... I think the Jets provide them with that shot in the arm today, or not today, on Sunday. What am I saying? But I'm going to take the Seahawks here.
So, Jack, is my homeboy Russell Wilson thing, is it close?
It's still close.
Come on.
See, I didn't say it was Russell Wilson.
I know, but you say everything in the NFL is close. So I'm just saying for this specific thing.
For Russell, I don't think it's close with Russell Wilson. I feel like it's close with Aaron Rodgers.
That's all I want. That's all I want to say. I've been saying this coming into the year. Maybe that was a little bit of bias coming in, but now I think people realize it.
I think you're just overcompensating from the fact that you were the last one on the homeboy train.
It's crazy because I had Russell Wilson at 1, remember?
Yeah, you did.
For the longest time. So, it just goes to show how, things can change. But obviously I'm going to take the Seahawks here. Let's see. I mean, I just wanted to, people haven't talked about this, but Jamal Adams has 7.5 sacks in 8 games.
He almost broke the DB sack record last year.
I think he's going to break it.
Missed a couple games, and he's going to break it this year. I think that's just so crazy. And, one of the things I said
in 8 games? That's impressive. Come on. I mean, he can't cover to save his life. I don't know why.
For some reason, he just lost that ability when he went to Seattle. I said that if they use him correctly, I think Seattle wins the division, and I'd argue they haven't. I think that when I was saying that, I thought I meant it like they don't just solely use him in coverage. They use him all over the field. But I think that they've been because they need pass rush going into the year. They used him too much in that role.
But Quandre Diggs has been a nice,
he has been,
compliment.
But you can't have just one safety covering. Like Jamal Adams, I feel like while they used him correctly as a pass rusher, I think they've overused him to fix their glaring pass rush need at the beginning of the year. And I feel like it's kind of messed them up a little bit, which is why I think right now I don't think they're going to win the division. And I think it matches. I don't think they've used him correctly, and that defense has suffered.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But we move in to another NFC matchup, the Green Bay Packers versus the Detroit Lions. Detroit did bounce back after losing Matt Patricia. They seemed happy. They never once put up 34 or more points.
No, they put it once.
Put up once, and then they put it up right when he left. They got a comeback win, a win in the last moments of the game, which is something you never see with Matt Patricia's Detroit Lions, and they did it. But look, it's the Green Bay Packers. I think the Packers win this game. I think they're a better team than Detroit. They've had a better year. They need it more. So I've got the Packers.
Yeah, with the Lions, I mean, you got to find a way to contain Aaron Rodgers, and not only Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Jones too. And you got one of the worst run defenses in the NFL, so I don't see this, I don't see this boding well for the Lions at all. I'm going to take the Packers here.
So I'm going to take the Lions to lose because the Packers, Aaron Rodgers, man, dude, he's amazing. Just amazing to watch. And, there's a guy, number 17, who I'm going to say it again, best receiver in the league right now. You can't tell me otherwise. Dude is insane. I mean, my God. Did you see the touchdown where he, carried two guys into the end? My God. I mean, just incredible. And though the Lions are at home, I just don't see it here. Stafford's looked good, as a guy who's not high on him. I thought he played well against Chicago. So, a little bit of a consolation, but it's not leading to anything, though. So I got the Packers here.
And we move in. This is one of the more interesting games of the week. I don't think it's going to be, all that close. I think that New Orleans wins this game. But they do play the Philadelphia Eagles, and Carson Wentz was just benched, which is funny. Anish, is he going to win MVP? I'm not completely sure. But, it's a tough team to have your first ever NFL start against, being the New Orleans Saints and what their defense has done this year.
And I said the worst team to start against.
Yeah, it's just brutal. But I think that, Shrika, I don't want to steal your thunder. I know you're going to do an episode on Carson Wentz landing spots. I think Carson Wentz.
He's doing it, not me. I can't. I don't want to ever.
I think Carson Wentz is a Philadelphia Eagle to start the year next year. I really do. It's just going to be too tough to move on from. I think this is an audition for Jalen Hurts. I still think Carson Wentz is the franchise quarterback moving forward. And I think.
What does that mean, though?
I think he starts week 1 next year.
Do you believe in him, or do you just think he'll be there?
I think he'll be there. I don't believe in Wentz. I think that I still think he's going to start week 1 next year. I think that's my prediction for right now. But I'm also starting to kind of believe in Jalen Hurts. I feel like he's got that kind of factor that we see with some of these other NFL quarterbacks who shine, like Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes. I feel like he's got that. And
okay, you didn't see Josh Allen. So you're saying a Josh Allen type thing from him?
I don't know. I think that there were quarterbacks that didn't have perfect tape. Mahomes and Watson and Allen didn't have perfect tape, but they just got that kind of.
Not Watson.
He didn't have perfect tape. All three of them. Yeah,
he was the star. He had everything.
He was, but going into the draft, he's he's got small hands. He's kind of short.
I would say Trubisky had less of that, because at UNC, same thing with Danny Dimes at Duke. I would say that type of thing, right? Because I think bigger schools you would get more type of attention.
But no, that's not exactly what I'm saying. I'm not talking about their status as a prospect. I feel like there's some problems that people point out, and I feel like Hurts had those same problems. He just plays at Oklahoma. They've got a great offense. They're just churning out quarterbacks. But I feel like those kind of quarterbacks, they've got that kind of it factor. They win games. Jalen Hurts won games. Wherever he was, he won games. He got better over his college career. So I feel like, while his tape might not be perfect and while there's things he needs to work on, I feel like he just might have that it factor, and he's got a chance to come in. And because he's taking over for Wentz and he sat on the bench the whole time and now gets to prove himself, I'm kind of starting to, develop a little bit of belief in Jalen Hurts. I want to see more before I put any stock into him. And I think it's a rough game to start being the New Orleans Saints, but I'm kind of starting to come around on Jalen Hurts. I might, buy some stocks in Jalen Hurts going into next year. But I think they lose this game to New Orleans to finish it off.
All right, I'll keep it short. I mean, as y'all may know, the Eagles are a tire fire. They are not right at this moment. It's just Carson Wentz's confidence is just rock bottom right now. Jalen Hurts or Carson Wentz, no matter who started this game, my hopes weren't really high. The Saints are just unstoppable right now, so I'm going to take the Saints.
Saints have been playing with the hottest team in the NFL right now. I'm going to take the Saints. Carson Wentz has finally been put an end to his misery, and I've had some pretty good takes throughout the year, but this one just I feel like it overshadows it.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't I'm convinced he switched lives with that Prince Harry dude from England. I mean, there's no other way to explain it. I mean, I talked a lot about it, over the past few days, ever since I heard about the benching and just the potential thought of it. I mean, I want him to leave. I still have faith that he can still be good in this league. I still do. Call it biased, call it whatever, but he still showed me some flashes. And it's just, again, he's been sacked once in every 8 dropbacks. Do you know that? That's pretty insane.
But if you watch
that's
him,
on
a lot
him.
of
No,
those are his
that's
fault.
on him.
Yeah.
That's a little bit is on him. I'm not going to say that. I told you, I'm not going to defend it. But again, I'm not going to spoil anything about Shrikar, but there are some places that I would want to see him in. And I really think he can still be good. And who knows? I mean, Brandon Brooks, Dilliard, and Lane Johnson all come back next year. I mean, sky's the limit, but for this Eagles team, not really. But for Wentz, it can only go up from here.
Yeah, it can't get much worse.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of worse, Los Angeles Chargers have somehow found a way to be worse on my little list.
That is worse than the
Atlanta Falcons. I've sworn off the Atlanta Falcons, but they play the Chargers, and after this 45-0 loss, I'm swearing off I'm swearing off Los Angeles Chargers for the year. I only got a couple more weeks left, but I'm not picking them, which means for the first time in a very long time, I'm going to pick the Atlanta Falcons to win a football game.
All right. I mean, Jack put it perfectly. I'm probably going to swear off picking the Chargers for the rest of the year, probably. It's just 45-0. Oh, my goodness. I mean, the Falcons, they haven't been all that bad in recent weeks. They're still 4-8. They're still flawed, but they could get a few more wins before the season is over. It won't be enough to make the playoffs, but, I mean, just like we saw last year, that could give them more confidence heading into next year. And I wouldn't be surprised if one of those wins comes this week. LA, they're solid defensively. Justin Herbert, we all know how good he is, but it's just they're so underwhelming. And could it be another blowout? I could honestly see it, but I mean, I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to take the Falcons here.
Saw this today. Did you know that there are 2 teams that are top 10 on offense, top 10 on defense? One is the LA Rams, which are 8-4 and first in their division. The other is the 3-9 Chargers, who are last in their division.
Because of their last place special teams.
I don't know if it's their last play. I don't know if the special teams.
I know they're really definitely down there.
They're definitely low, though. I mean, this again, 10 years ago they were first in both, and then they were last in special team. I mean, it's like, who's going to change it? I know what you want to say about, Justin Herbert. I think his Pro Bowl ballot is gone now. I don't think he's got
well, I don't know. Who would you put over him?
I'm not going to put him in. Huh?
What other quarterback would you put in? I think that's Watson right now. Yeah, I would switch out Watson for Herbert. And I think I think Justin Jefferson.
I would still not. I don't want to transition to the game, but Big Ben, I would still consider it.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to pick the Falcons here because again, they've actually looked pretty good these last few weeks, and they were the closest to knocking off the Saints in this 8-game run that they're going on. So I think they'll win here. Despite the Chargers being at home, that's a demoralizing loss. That is huge. I mean that is by far Herbert's worst game. I think that's his only quote unquote bad game that he's played. Yeah. So, I mean, it was a rude awakening. Maybe he'll bounce back, but I don't know if it's enough. I think the Falcons will win this game.
Yeah, hopefully it just doesn't. Hopefully it doesn't hamper his career going forward. I would. No. I hope this team doesn't do that going forward. That would that'd be devastating. But moving into our next game, Shrikar. Look, I'm back to being a Niners hater. I know I said that they would go on a run. I know I picked them. I picked them to beat the Bills. But look, I'm back to being a Niners hater, and I've liked Washington all year. I said I think before the season started, I thought there were some qualities that were very similar to last year's Niners team. But I honestly didn't think that they would succeed this early on record-wise. I thought they would look good. I didn't think their record would honestly be where it is right now, and I really didn't think they'd have a shot at the playoffs.
Really?
Yeah, I think
they show more than their record. I think their record is not the best.
Honestly, that's what I thought they would do this year, and then I was going to go hard on them going into next year, and they've been good this year, and I think they've looked great in some games. But as much as I want to be a Niners hater, I still hate them. I'm still going to. I think they win this one, to be completely honest. I think they win, and they might still go on a run. They might still win some games. I don't think they'll make the playoffs. But I still think they can win some games, down the stretch, which some Niners fans, might not like. But I feel like it'll happen. And I still want to see Washington make the playoffs. That'd be awesome. But I think they dropped this one to San Francisco.
And if Antonio Gibson doesn't play, I mean, that's just going to favor San Francisco even more. But, dude, the football team needs to keep winning because they don't have that tiebreaker with the Giants. No. So I'm literally just banking on Nick Mullins to take care of the ball. I think our defense will do a good job. Brandon Ayuk hopefully has a good game, maybe 1 or 2 touchdowns, but I'm going to take the Niners here. I'm going to be confident in my team.
I'm going to take the Niners here too. There's a guy who's only played 6 games and still leads the league in yards after contact. His name is Deebo Samuel. I just wanted to – I mean, that's incredible.
Like, in yards after contact?
Jack, no, come on. You got to give it to him. Yeah.
No.
So that's insane. He's honestly been really good in the games he's played.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
not better than DK though. Someone tried to tell me earlier going into this year he's better than DK.
I honestly in the game for game he has not. It hasn't been that far off. Game for game he has not.
Yeah.
But obviously he's got to stay healthy. And I think going into next year as a third year wide receiver 1, I think the sky's the limit for him. Ayuk's been good too. I think the Niners team wins. It's tough, right, for Washington. I just think, 2 games on the road. I think they ride in a little bit too high. It's a short week too. I think the Niners win this one. I don't know if they'll make the playoffs. I really don't, but I think they win this game.
I think right now the Niners are just kind of building towards next year. They got a lot of guys back from injury. Maybe there's a new quarterback in there.
A lot of guys.
You know what? This team could be very underrated going into next year, especially if they make a move for a quarterback. I mean, I don't know if Jimmy
all the bandwagons left this year.
Yeah. And they might be back after next year, but I think they win this one. The team they lost to last week, the Buffalo Bills, hosts the now not undefeated Pittsburgh Steelers. If they were undefeated, I would have gone with the Bills. I really would have. I think the Bills are playing like the second hottest team of football right now behind the Saints. Ever since I think they've won 5 out of their last 6.
They would have been 6-0 if it wasn't for the Hail Mary.
Yeah.
If that's what you're trying to say.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. They've played great. But look, when you're undefeated, a loss is inevitable. It's going to come at some point. And I think once it happens, it gets it out of the way. Now it's out of the way. The Steelers, I think it was really good, honestly, that they lost last week. It was good for them they lost. I think that they bring it back this week. I think that they come out, a little bit rejuvenated after that loss. I honestly believe it was really good for them. So now they've got some time to sit on that loss and move forward from it. And they have a little bit less fear. I think they win this game against the Bills. I think that when Buffalo played Joey Bosa, he kind of wreaked havoc against them, and now they get to go against TJ Watt. And I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I was really tempted to go with the Bills, but I feel like because of that loss, the Steelers will come out and look more like they did at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I mean, like Jack said, no matter what happened last week, the Steelers have another game to look forward to this week. With the Bills, of course, you're just trying to improve your standing in the AFC. That was a dominant victory against us. I mean, Josh Allen, that dude can shred secondaries, man. And
he can.
He can take.
I don't know what the
games.
Niners secondary was.
He
doing
literally,
Oh,
Tarvarius Moore.
come on!
No. Allen played amazing, but you can't.
Allen played great, but the Niners were always lost in coverage. And I mean, having Stephon Diggs helps, but I think Josh Allen is really coming into his own. This Bills squad is very promising. Oh, man, I'm going to take the Bills here because I wouldn't be surprised if the Steelers are still kind of reeling from that scheduling nightmare and the first loss of the season. I'm expecting them to come into this game unprepared mentally. That's literally what it comes down to. And if that's the case, Allen's definitely going to take advantage. So I'm going to take the Bills here.
So I differed with Jack on one game so far. This will be the Steelers' 3rd game in 13 days. And look, you're right, Jack. That is literally the reason I think used for many of these games. Like if they would have won, then I would have picked them. There's some bias in this one. There's some bias.
Some bias.
There's some both ways. I hate the Steelers.
Yeah.
And Josh Allen is an MVP candidate. He's still in the 3rd. He's still 3rd. Who knows what happens towards the end of the year? But he's still in it.
He won't win. He won't win MVP. You heard it here first.
I don't think he will. I'm probably 99%.
Neither will Carson Wentz, by the way. I'm just going to keep bringing that up. It's so fun.
Those two, right? Hey, at least one of them kind of turned out right.
Yeah.
All right. The other one, obviously. All the signs honestly point to a Steelers bounce back win. But I think the Bills had this game.
I disagree. I feel like all the signs point towards the Bills.
All signs point to the Bills, really.
No, that was before they lost to Washington. But here's the thing. I think the Bills had this game circled. I think they knew about this game weeks in advance. And I really trust Sean McDermott. I like this Bills team. I was high on them, right? I mean, I was high on the quarterback. I mean, have the Steelers really played a quarterback as good as Josh Allen all year? I don't think so. I'm trying to think. I think the best quarterback they've played is Ryan Tannehill. Yeah. And he looked pretty decent against them towards the fourth quarter when they came back. I'm going to take the Bills. Yes, there's some bias. Yes, there's a little bit of hope that, we'll go to the next game. But, yeah, I'm going to take the Bills here.
I think another thing I want to focus on, Stephon Diggs was lights out against the Niners. It seemed like no matter what, every third down he was open. And, I want to start.
Another guy who was lights out.
Measly Beasley.
Mr.
Beasley. I can't believe he's doing this.
No, I can't either. Joke, but look, I think Stephon Diggs, I want to start a petition right now. I think that the tier one of receivers right now is Devontae Adams, Julio Jones, Tyreek Hill, DeAndre Hopkins, and you'll include Michael Thomas in there just because of what he did last year. I think I'm going to start a petition right now that Diggs deserves a spot in that top tier. I really think
make the same argument for Keenan Allen. I
agree with that too.
But the outskirts.
I think that
right on the outskirts.
I mean, you get Stephon Diggs, you allow him to be a number one. He proves he can be a number one. And then you get him a great quarterback in Josh Allen.
Oh, really? He's great?
I think right now you could honestly make the argument that he's number two behind Devontae Adams. I think you really could, especially going into next year. I think, it's tough because Julio Jones hasn't had as much of a headliner season as he has before. Neither is Michael Thomas, but Stephon Diggs, I think the sky's the limit for him and what he's been doing. I think it only gets better, honestly. I don't know if you guys agree with that take. Two is tough. I admit two is tough. But he's done well every game. He's done well every game as opposed to what Hopkins has done.
The top five is fair though, for sure.
It's tough to. It's too tough for me.
It's tough.
Can't.
The receiver, honestly,
very tough.
If we had to make a receiver rank, that'd be the toughest video we've had to do ever. Right now, even making a top 10 of receivers, you're leaving out some amazing names.
I can't.
You're ruffling feathers every way. But look, our final game of the week, Anish. Your Cleveland Browns host the Baltimore Ravens. I'll start it off. I think Baltimore's back. I really do. I think that after that game against the Cowboys, once they got through, like we've seen throughout the year, once teams get through the COVID stuff they have to deal with, they're better. I mean, they play better. I think Lamar's back. I think this Ravens team is back. I feel like they're honestly dangerous going into the playoffs because, like Anish pointed out, last year they were the last year they were the hunters. Now they're the hunted. And I feel like that's kind of gone down over the year. And now they're kind of more the underdog team. They're the team everyone's leaving out. I think they're really dangerous going into the playoffs because they've got nothing to lose.
A little bit of Ravens kind of bias from earlier in the year, huh?
Yeah, but I'm not a Ravens fan. I've kind of given up hope on the Ravens, but I think they're dangerous. I feel like they have nothing to lose, and teams that have nothing to lose with that good of a roster, they're dangerous. And I think they beat the Browns this week, and watch out for them going into the playoffs. That's all I'm going to say.
Look, I didn't think I'd be saying this at any point in the season, but the Browns are actually looking like a legit contender, man. And Kevin Stefanski, man, all the praise, man. I mean, he deserves his name thrown in the Coach of the Year discussion. And
he's the front runner.
He should be the front runner.
As for the Ravens, they looked really good last week, but then again, it's the Cowboys, and it's just I don't see another win coming this week for the Ravens. The roster has already been ravaged by COVID. That's certainly going to have short-term side effects on chemistry, cohesiveness, all of that, and especially if Baltimore has to rely on the run against this team, I don't think it's going to go well because the Browns, they actually have a pretty good run defense. So, I mean, anything is possible with these AFC North matchups, but, I mean, the needle seems to be pointing in Cleveland's direction, so I'm going to go with the Browns here.
Would you believe the Ravens actually are favored? I think it's they have a 77% chance to win according to Yahoo Sports, but I've been a Browns fan for around, 6 to 7 years. I have watched, game in and out. I have watched many of these games end to end. I have never been this excited about this team. The dog pound deserves it. I mean, there have been fans that have been there longer than I have, no doubt, been through way worse than I've seen. I mean, as much as you may hate them, Jack, you got to come on, man. I mean, this has been long.
I mean, I had them 11-5.
I had them 11-5.
I've watched football for so long, and I have yet to see a playoff game. I haven't even seen a playoff game from my team, and it's not even guaranteed yet. because I told you I will never, like look forward with this team until I see the X across their name that says they're in the playoffs. So I don't know yet. And yes, there's some bias with my picks with the Bills winning, and if the Browns win, they're a game back of the division. I'm just saying. But I'm gonna pick the Browns. I think this is the biggest game of the year. I think this is bigger than the Titans game. And I just wanted to say, Baker Mayfield, I think this is a bigger test. I think, that he showed it against the Titans. He did.
He's been able to show it, though, like game by game. He rarely shows it multiple weeks in a row.
Okay, ever since Odell got hurt, he's actually been ranked the 5th best quarterback by PFF. That's a little bit.
Of the entire 2018 draft class, he has the highest quarterback PFF grade, even including Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen.
Yeah, that
was shocking to me.
Just throwing it out there. I think Denzel Ward being out has the least impact out of our rest of the schedule for this game because of those receivers. But I think Hollywood Brown might go off just because of his speed. So I think you do have to watch out for that because our corners aren't that good. And also, Andrew Zendejo is the worst player in the NFL, and I think maybe I've seen in the last 5 years. He's allowing a 157 rating coming in. I think it was the Jags game. Perfect pass rating is 158. He's allowed 10 touchdowns, guys. 10 touchdowns. Just saying. Get him off the field. That's all. Every Browns fan's been saying it. I'm going to take the Browns here. I don't want to elaborate anymore, but I'm hoping that a lot of this is just hope that the Bills and the Browns win. But if they do it, 10-3. Oh my God, I don't even know what I would do if they won this game. But yeah, it's a big one. I'm sure you guys will be watching it. Yeah, I know I will. Y'all know I will. So, praying they win.
Yeah, that wraps up our Week 14 picks. Like we mentioned earlier in the video, go down to our description, go to our Instagram, vote on the games in this week in our story. Timestamps were in the description if you want to go back to any of the specific games. You got a couple games to make up on Anish. His picks. Don't let that influence you too much. Go with who you think's going to win. But look, if you get more right, you get closer to having the lead and closer to a giveaway with a couple more weeks left. We want to thank you guys, obviously, for watching this one and watching all of our picks. Go down, subscribe, hit the like button, and hit the notification bell. That's the best way to let us know your support for the videos. But, that's all we got for you this time, and we'll see you next time.